Good afternoon, Silvana. Good
Hello.
afternoon to all of the attendees.
Lovely to have you,
I
Xavier.
assume.
The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I will share my display and hopefully you should get the full screen view
It's coming
of my
in. We can see that
presentation.
perfect. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I understand I have 20 minutes. So
Indeed.
yes, so we will go quickly over the capacity building efforts from Etsy. And what I would like to say first is that these efforts, I mean, they come in multiple forms and shapes, and they all complement each other. It's a big mix that is part of the DNA, I would say, of Etsy, which builds on the partnerships, cooperation, and of course a deep link with the membership of Etsy. So my first slide will start listing, let's say, all of these um, forms that capacity building can come in. So we have different types of activities. We see workshops, hackathons, and developer events, the hosting of study visits, and the exchange of best practices and support to fellow standard development organizations. We have facilitation of participation of non-EU players in key events in Europe, the establishment of interfaces on the ground in select geographies, and the development of material such as tutorials and introductory videos that help people getting acquainted with a number of concepts and topics and technologies that we're working on, or that we're, uh, let's say, that form the ecosystem that we're part of, and also some activities related to studies. So all of these capacity building efforts is made possible through several things, but one thing I like to insist on is the fact that we do not work in isolation. We have excellent partners that we are very happy to work with on several initiatives. And here I list a few from Korea, of course, with our good friends from TTA, our common member, KT, which is a research institute in Korea, our colleagues from TSDSI, also a common member between Etsy and TSDSI, which is the Center for Development of Telematics, also known as CDOT, and also a partner organization in Brazil called CPQD, with which we have organized different of these activities listed here. What's also important is to recognize that some EU-funded activities, such as the projects for which you have the logos around, are also a big catalyst for these capacity building activities. I would like to flag the former Indico project, in which we have worked with TTA and actually taken part in earlier editions of this Gisc conference, the which is now, let's say, followed by Indico Global, which you mentioned briefly, Silvana, sorry. But also the India EU ICT standardization, which was a bilateral uh, um, cooperation project between Europe and India. CESE and CESEC I will come back to later, as well as the GIST, which allow us to have experts on the ground in several geographies. I'll go into the a bit more detail, let's say, about this list of different activities. Of course, we use and organize a lot of workshops, hackathons and developer events because this is a very efficient way to exchange knowledge, to help people get acquainted with a number of specific topics. We are able to raise awareness about not only emerging technologies, but also the digital policies that they support, and also the legal framework in which we evolve as a European standard organization. For example, and it's just a few examples out of many. For example, we've held in the past workshops on EIDAS, so the Electronic Identification, Authentication and Trust Services Regulation, with the ITI in their event called Cert Forum in Brazil. We've held Indico Global workshops on the European standardization system to exchange with our counterparts in the Caribbean and in Africa about our respective approach to standardization. These workshops, of course, I mean, they allow us to, let's say, address a specific topic, but it is also the opportunity to create connections and links between expert communities. And very often, I mean, these links, I mean, they survive these events, and that builds the foundation of our network internationally. Hackathons and developer events are some, let's say, different animals in that they offer a much more hands-on approach to discover a specific technology or a specific standard. And we target developers also because there is a lot more of the standards that we develop that actually end up being software in the end in their implementation. And so reaching out to the developer community and giving them this ability to interact with experts, but also really practice implementation of the standard in a specific setting is also a very efficient way to develop capacity among the developer community related to a specific standardization area. As examples, I could give the developer events we have organized for 1M2M, one specifically with CDOT in Delhi, also together with TSDSI, so which is the, let's say, the Indian Etsy, if I may say so, or let's say our counterpart in India. We've recently, or I mean, not so long ago, partnered with the Linux Foundation also on a hackathon on the topic of edge computing. And recently, you can see also on the right this event for IoT and edge use cases that took place in Etsy last week, basically. Now I'm talking about study visits and facilitated participation and support to fellow SDOs. I mean, also, I mean, we spend a lot of time traveling and meeting people, but also we invite them to our place. And so we make sure that we enable the possibility for relevant stakeholders in the partner regions, for example, SDOs or government representatives, or I mean, groups of representatives to travel to Europe and meet not only with our staff, but also with our experts from our technical community and coming from specific technical committees. And we also make sure that we arrange meetings with the key stakeholder organizations in Europe. We had not so long ago a visit of 20 plus people from the Bureau of Indian Standards that came to Etsy, but also to other European organizations in order to get a better understanding of how we approach standardization for ICT in Europe. And this is another, let's say, angle of capacity building. We also sometimes leverage the funding we have with projects in order to facilitate participation of non-EU stakeholders in European events. Recently, we had the ETSI 6G Monday and the 6G Forge events where we could involve Brazilian stakeholders, which really appreciated this initiative from us, and that is something that allowed a much greater visibility of standardization efforts on 6G, but also research efforts on 6G outside of Europe. And we also make sure that we support our fellow standard development organizations. We've worked with TSDSI as an example to help set up the 1M, 2M certification scheme in India. This is still work in progress, actually. We traveled a while back and before the a terrible situation in Ukraine to the Ukrainian National Standards Organization for training and help them, let's say, get a better understanding of how we work in the European Union. We also have a key element, which is the establishment of on-the-ground interfaces in select geographies. So through projects like CESEC and CESE. So CESEC means seconded European standardization expert in China. CESE is the same with India. And these are approaches that we established a long time ago, more than 10 years ago, actually, to have people on the ground that would be a walking and living and talking link between Europe and their local region on the topic of standardization and the related policies. And so with, of course, a permanent presence, an office, and support resources so that they could serve as a point of contact for both European and local players. It could be industry, academia, government, any player basically, and these experts act as a facilitator for the Europe and local geography participation. Cooperation, and this is something that is really helpful in creating awareness, building capacity also with local stakeholders. And the projects in China and India have been running now for more than 10 years. They have been extended several times, and this is a great success and value for Europe and for the stakeholders in the targeted regions. And now we are in the process of establishing similar experts in 5 regions. And you can see Colombia, Egypt, and Tunisia, Indonesia, and the Philippines, Kenya, and Nigeria through a project which is called Gisc. And Gisc is mentioned on an earlier slide. You can see this means the Global Partnership for Human-Centric ICT Standardization. And this is a very exciting endeavor on our side. I move now to the development of tutorials and introductory videos. This is also a key material in order to develop or support teaching and self-learning, which ultimately helps build the capacity among, let's say, future either participants in standardization or adopters of the technology. We have a number of video and tutorials that have been created. For tutorials, I gave only a few examples on the topic of network function virtualization, 1M, 2M, or ontologies and semantic interoperability for IoT. For videos, we have worked on several things. Reconfigurable intelligent surfaces, which is a groundbreaking concept which may be used in the future 6G. link between research and standardization, explanation about standard essential patents, also work on electronic signatures and others, which all help raising the awareness and understanding of these topics within either expert communities or the more general population, where sometimes education is needed as well. Now, I talk about education, and I know Knut mentioned this already. I would like still to go briefly on the efforts that Etsy has done on education about standardization since 2018, sorry. We know for a fact that the ICT standardization community is not immune to aging. I have seen over the years the color of my hair change, and I know, I hope sometime I will retire. So we need to prepare replacement. This is, I'm not the only one. Everybody is facing this issue. We also lack formal standardization education and vocational training. And we know that the future decision makers need to understand the role and the value of standards. So this endeavor about educating about standardization is really something that is close to our hearts. We've published a book which is now in its second edition, and which has been the basis for teaching material that has been adopted by a lot of universities, and now almost 100 organizations are licensing this content from us for integration in their own training and curricula. That's a very successful thing, and of course we are also contributing part of this content to other initiatives. I remember Silvana mentioned that Stand ICT can build on these existing material from us, but also from other ESOs. The education, the Edu for Standard project also can take this into account. This is available for everybody to use. There is indeed strong support from the European Union, and Etsy is a signatory of the pledge on education and skills and standards, and where we basically commit to encourage the involvement of students and young graduates in this world of standardization. We drive awareness campaigns and we develop educational modules for this. This is something which is followed very closely by the European Commission, also through this working group on education and skills and standards within the high-level forum on European standardization. Next, of course, there is a comprehensive set of materials which is to be used both for teaching and for e-learning. I put links in this slide and in the next one to access the teaching material that has been developed, not only the book, but also a slide set of over 380 slides that is designed to help the teachers and the learners to with a good, let's say, support material. There are several sections. They can all be downloaded as PDF, but also as we intend to provide maximum flexibility on the reuse of this material, we can provide all the material in editable form, which can then be adapted to the needs of the users. So I put a link here to the license form, and we've got great interest for this, not only in Europe, but outside of Europe. We recently came back from India and Brazil, where both these, let's say, elements were really a source of interest from our, let's say, our partners there. The e-learning space, you need me to come to a conclusion?
Lovely. That would be wonderful. wonderful.
I bet I can make wonders happen then. Teaching and e-learning, you have another link here, again for self learning. And then, of course, there is this new thing, which is the game and the tech trivia game, which is coming soon. I realize I forgot to put the link for the YouTube video, but all of this will be available in the slides. And then I think that's it. That's my last slide. Capacity building in action. It's not only words. Next week we're, for example, supporting the hosting of the 1M 2M technical plenary in Kuala Lumpur, which is supported by the Indico Global Project and allows us to reach out to this Malaysian Technical Standards Forum and the stakeholders of the IoT ecosystem in Malaysia to raise awareness about 1M, 2M, to understand their use cases and requirements, and basically to work together towards adoption and global interoperability in the world of IoT. One last word is that capacity building is not only us exporting knowledge and things like this. All of these projects that we're involved in allow us to learn a lot and to do what I would call cross capacity building. This is something I wanted to stress. We are not the only ones bringing or sharing knowledge. It's a very symmetrical process. Thank you very much, and that's it for me.